Hi guys, it's Claire's and welcome to my channel again, where I put out mostly watercolor tutorials on florals and other such fun stuff. This is my first video showcasing Procreate and what can be done with it. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This is something a little bit different, and depending on your response, I might do some more, I might not. So let's start. Procreate is a fabulous app that is mostly available on the iPad Pro, and it allows you to just take all your crafting projects to the next level. And this is something that I've always kind of used for a while. And now that I have the Cricut, I feel like the Procreate has a really good kind of semblance. Procreate is a really good partner to kind of go along with Cricut. Plus we're doing watercolor. I feel like with the watercolor, it takes it to the next level. So as you can see here, I've been doing some stickers, I've been doing some logos because I'm a designer as well. But I wanted to give you guys the basic lowdown of Procreate. And so here we go. This is Procreate right here. This is what the interface looks like once you actually click on it. These are all my projects that I've kind of saved or that have been saved. And you have kind of a couple of options over here to kind of do start a new project. So we're just going to click on the plus sign and create something that, let's just say, maybe good enough for Instagram. So I am going to pick create custom size. You have preset sizing already, but if you want to do a custom sizing, just go ahead and do something in the sense, click on create custom, and it allows you to put in your own pixels. You can select inches, centimeters, millimeters right here, depending on what works for you. I'm going to pick pixels, and let's make something that is 1500 by 1500, like a nice square size. And I am going to click on this and go Procreate, name it Procreate Basics, because we're going to do something very basic today with it. I'm leaving it at 300 DPI because if it turns out to be something fantastic and I want to print it, then 300 DPI is what I want for it. So I have it as untitled. It's opened up over here. So I'm going to give you a quick lay of the land really quickly before we get into our project. So we have our tools at the top here that kind of give you an idea of what options you have. You can crop, resize. You can kind of flip your drawing or your artwork horizontally, vertically. You can even, once you're finished your artwork, you can share it in all these different formats, which is PSD, Procreate, PDF, JPEG, PNG, TIFF. Amazing, right? You can even do animated GIFs, PNGs, MP4s, and again, those are like layered files, so which is amazing. They have this video feature, so as we are kind of doing our artwork, if this button is turned on, you can actually create a time lapse of how your artwork has evolved. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've posted a couple of these time lapses, so I'm sure you've seen that. Preferences are pretty much just, we don't need to really look at this right now. And then that's it. So if you want to add something like a file or a photo, you press on the plus sign. And then if you want to add text, which is like a fairly new feature, you can just click on text and it allows you to add text within your document. All right, and so that's it for that. These are other adjustments, kind of like if you're familiar working with Photoshop, it kind of gives you a couple of different options here to like do a couple of filters, color balance, hues, adjusting all those things. Zooming by this really quickly just to give you a really quick overview of what is there and available. This allows you to kind of draw freehand, ellipses, rectangles, whatever. This is the selection tool, the arrow. This right here are your brushes. This is where you have the most fun. So you can, Procreate comes with brushes already. So I think up until water is all the brushes by Procreate. imported are the brushes that I have sort of imported from other third-party artists and other websites. So yes, so there's a sketching, there's inking, calligraphy, painting, artistic, like it's quite fun to kind of play around with. Then we have eraser. Again, eraser is, it gives you the brush option, so you can select a brush and kind of erase something in that pattern style. There's like the smudge tool as well. Again, you can do that based on the brushes. And then we have layers, which are most important. You have your background, and then you kind of build up on layers to create your pretty artwork. And then finally, we have our palettes. So you can either predetermine a palette and bring it in, or you can kind of adjust the values and create your own. There's so much you can do with this. So those are that. And then finally over here onto the left-hand side, we have our brush sizing. So I'm just going to select something so you can see it in action. So for instance, going down gives you the smallest brush size in percentage. Going up gives you the highest. So this is the biggest. This is the smallest for this particular brush. This right here is opacity. So you can select how your opacity for your brushes. So for instance, let's just go in the middle. Go in the middle here, and I'll do this. Maybe this is not the best example. Let me click another brush that is a little more dense. Let's do this. All right, and go in the middle. So you can see this is like a gray because the opacity is low. But if we go high, there's the opacity, right? And then we have these two features here at the bottom, and these are arrows to go forward and backward. And they're amazing because if you click backward, it takes away every step that you've kind of done. So that's amazing, right? So this, guys, is the basic overview of Procreate. I am using my Apple Pencil. This is what helps me kind of get the precision, and it's kind of like using a very basic pencil, except heavier, I would say. But yes, this is the basic overview. And now I think we are ready to start on a basic project. Welcome back. We are now ready to go ahead and create something very basic using the settings that we used from the previous video. So I am going to start off by adding some text on here because that's a really cool feature and it's quite basic. So I'm clicking on my little tool button there, and I am going to click on Add Text. And we get this little bubble here. I'm just going to click, type out hello, H-E-L-L-O. And we can click on Edit Style. And this gives us a whole bunch of options like fonts, style, sizing, kerning, tracking, leading, all that fun stuff. Paragraph attributes like left justified, centered, and then also the double T right here, which means capitalize. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to leave it on centered. And then I think I want to definitely make the size a lot bigger. You can see this is happening, but that's only because the bounding box for the text is a lot smaller. We can fix that shortly. Don't worry about that. I'm just going to click it on, leave it on that. And then for font, I am going to select something a little more condensed looking like that. And I'm going to make sure that the leading, nope, not the leading, the kerning is a little tight, but not too tight. So I'm lessening the space in between the letters. And once that's done, I'm going to click on done. And there we go, we have that. Now I want to make sure that this is centered properly. So what I'm going to do is just using two fingers on either side, I'm just kind of dragging down, and this is what shrinks down the zoom in, zoom out kind of feature for our canvas. Now I'm going to click the selection tool and make sure that this is centered decently. Now, if you are going to be very picky about your centering, you can always kind of go to your the features for canvas and then turn on the drawing guide, and this gives you the graph, I guess, for your centering, for lack of a better way of describing it. And then you can kind of just decide how you want it to be centered and where, and go with that. I'm just going to leave it over here, but I definitely want to make the hello a lot bigger. So I'm going to go back, click on this layer here, and then click on edit text, and then again, make it bigger. Then click on done. And then I just want to extend the box. Clicking on done again. I'm just making sure that this is down here. Selecting, we don't want to do that. Selecting it this way. I'm going to just eyeball it and just move it over. That's not bad. I like how this is looking. This is perfect. So we have one layer with the word hello. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to set a background color, and let's just set it at, I'm clicking on palettes to get to my branding colors here. Let's set it to, I think that's a white. Let's set it to like this really light pink. Actually, no, let's do the purple. Slightly different, right? And now I'm going to click on edit text again, and I want to make sure that the text is legible. So I'm going to click on this, select it, and change the color to, let's change it to the pink. And now that we have that, I think this is good. Just so there's less distractions, I'm going to turn off the drawing guide. I think that's okay. I don't really need it. And now we're going to start the fun aspect of this. We're going to start drawing some stuff to go on top of this. So I've created another layer by hitting the plus button right there, and I'm just going to move this layer down. So you select the layer, hold it down, and then you can move it downward, and that's how you switch the hierarchy of the layers. I'm going to select this again and select a color for my leaves. Actually, before we do the leaves, let's start off with the flowers. So I'm going to click on this medium sort of pink that I have. I have that selected. I have my proper layer selected. I'm going to name this layer, let's name it flowers. And once I have that selected, we're going to go ahead and start drawing our flowers. Now I want some flowers to kind of look like they're behind the H and like around these words here. So I'm just going to go ahead, zoom in so you can see how I'm doing this, and making sure that we have the right brush selected. I have my studio pen selected from inking. That's great. I think I'm going to use that. And I'm going to create something very basic, like a circle. Okay, that's way too large. We want to bring it down to maybe like 7%. Yeah, I think 7% is good. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a circle, but like keep it in a very like flowy pattern like that. And then once I have that, I'm going to click on the color and drop it right there. And that colors the whole thing. And there we go, we have our flower, or one flower. So there's one flower. I'm going to create another one over on this end. And I'm doing the same thing, like keeping some nice organic shapes to create that little flower motion, or shape rather. You can perfect the edges if you want to. Let's do another one. Peeking around over here. No, I want it to be more circular. There we go. And then selecting the color, dropping it in. Perfect. Let's do another one. Actually, let's select another color. So I'm going to select the, let's select the purple. I think that's like a lighter purple. Let's see how that purple looks here. So I'm going to make a flower over here. Same kind of technique. but I think this is a little too dark. So what I'm going to do is I want to adjust the color. So I'm going to click on value, and I'm just going to bump up the brightness of the purple and the lightness of it as well, just so it gives it a little more, we have a little more pop to it. And then that's it. Now I'm going to create the same thing, but I'm going to try and do these flowers a little bit tinier so that they don't stand out as much as the pink ones. And then let's do another one over on this end. And I'll just do one more. There's 3, 3, 6. Let's do one over here on this end. Actually, no, not there. Let's do one here onto the side. And I'm just going to do one at the very top, but like a tiny, tiny one. There we go. So we have our flowers. Next thing I want to do is create the centers for these flowers. So I'm just going to select the color again and go back to my palettes, and I'm selecting my mustard color that I have. And I am going to, you can either select mustard. Actually, you know what? Let's do a white. I'm going to select my white, and I am just going to create some very basic circles in the center because I want to keep this lesson very basic for you guys, so you can have fun with it and kind of see what you can do with Procreate. So we have this really pretty looking thing, floral pattern, I guess, with hello. I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to name this one leaves. And once I have that selected, I'm going to select my color. I'm going to pick this really nice teal that I have, and I'm going to make sure that my setting is slightly lower for the brush size, and then I'm going to start creating some leaves just like that. And you can either color it in or take the color and drop it in. That is entirely up to you. I will leave that up to you to decide. But yeah, the idea is to just create a couple of leaves in and around this area and create some nice visual interest in our florals. Right, so there we go. This one has like 2 of them side by side. And let's create another one here. Close off that circle of 3. Let's do one over here. And let's do one peeking out from this side. If you make a mistake, remember you have the back arrow bit that you can sort of toggle backward, and you can always go ahead and perfect your little shapes. But yeah, this is the basic idea of creating a pretty little text looking area, or post rather, pretty little post that says hello, and adding some florals and some color and just kind of creating something of your own. So I'm gonna end this off. I'm keeping it very basic just to kind of show you guys what you can and cannot do. And I'm just gonna save this so you can see what that looks like. So now I'm just gonna click on that button, click on share, and then click on PNG, and then click on save image. And then it automatically saves the image. And this is what our image is gonna look like. If you go into photos and you click on it right there, here it is. And that was our very basic tutorial on how you can do something fun in Procreate. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you'd like to see more of things like this. This is also something that you could sort of take into the Cricut and kind of create your own little Cricut sticker, I guess, even. So there's lots of fun things you can work into and create with this. So hope you guys enjoyed this, guys. Consider subscribing, like the video, and please do consider sharing in your social media circles as well. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll chat soon. Bye.